If you're the type of person that likes a bit of a challenge, I'm thinking you might quite like this video. Now, I'm going to list, run through, demonstrate all the things I've heard conference speakers say and do that they really shouldn't. My name's Graham David and I help conference speakers and I help conference organisers have better conferences and to deliver their conferences better than they do currently. So here's the challenge element. As I run through these, I want you to keep a mental tally of all of the ones that you've seen speakers do. And it'd be great if at the end of the video, if you just post your, this was the number of ones that I've seen, whatever that number's going to be. And by the way, there's a hardcore version to this if you're up for it, and I know you are. Rather than just a point for each one you've seen another speaker do, how about a point for each one that you know you do? Up to you, I'll leave it with you, see which one you want to go for. So here we go, these are the things that conference speakers say and do that they really shouldn't. For those of you who don't know me, this has to be one of the worst, most pointless introductions ever in the history of the world. For those of you who don't know me and you then chunter on about yourself, your team, your department and your massive achievements. Here's the point. First of all, no one really cares. What we want to do is to get to the content. We want to know what it is that you're offering to help us with. But two, for those of you who don't know me, it's just a waste of introduction time. Well, just tell us who you are. If you want to tell us who you are, tell us who you are. Simple as. You'll have to excuse me, I'm a little bit nervous. Okay. There are some audiences that if you tell them you're a bit nervous, they'll warm up to you. They'll be more giving. They'll be more empathetic. They'll be going, yeah, cheering you on. Now, I don't know your audience. Maybe that'll work for your audience. But most audiences I've seen, if you tell them, you'll have to excuse me, I'm a bit nervous, they will then go, okay, let's see how nervous you are. And then you, noticing that they've noticed you being nervous, will start to be a bit more nervous. And what you've got there is a feedback loop. Please don't tell people you're nervous. This content's a bit dry, we're running over a bit, but I'll do my best. Okay, this is laden with not great setup for your presentation. It's a bit dry, I'll do my best, we're running over. These are all terrible things to say at the start of your presentation, because now, anybody who's sat there thinking, I really need to have a break, or I really need to get out and do something, is now thinking, oh no, it's official, we are running over. Oh, and this is going to be dry and a bit content heavy. Great. You need to absolutely tear into your presentation with bags of energy, ready to go straight into whatever it is you're there to share with your audience in this particular section. I'm what stands between you and lunch. Okay, now I get it. This is supposed to be a slightly self-deprecating joke about the fact that they've got to listen to you before they get to lunch. I get that. And if it was the first and only time I'd ever heard it, it'd be great. But I've heard it lots of times and you probably have too. So if you're still using this phrase, please get rid of it. Welcome to the graveyard shift. Yeah, brilliant. Now there's a perception among not very good conference speakers that straight after lunch is the graveyard shift. In fact, trainers and conference speakers will all gather together and agree with each other that whoever's got the graveyard shift is really going to struggle. Nothing like a bit of self-determination. We're going to definitely make sure that this session's a bit boring. Now you can, if you wish, keep telling the audience that this is the graveyard shift, and they will in turn give you a pity laugh back. It's not empathy, they're laughing at you. It's not even a proper laugh, it's a, oh really? The graveyard shift. So stop doing this. Tear into that session with loads of energy. Here we go, bang, this is the next thing. You've had lunch. Lunch was good, brilliant. Now wait until you get into this section. Now it doesn't mean, by the way, that you can then bore them to tears the next 2 hours, because after lunch, they are going to struggle a little bit. We all are. So you need to keep that section fast moving, light and engaging. Hello? Can you hear me at the back? Okay, if you haven't checked your microphone before you get on stage, that's on you. You need to check your microphone before you get on stage. That's why we have technical rehearsals. If you stand there going, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do I need my microphone? Why haven't you tested that earlier? It looks so wildly amateur. So I can't really see because of the light. So it's there. Hello, hello. Okay, the hands over the eyes thing is the mark of an amateur. This is somebody who's never been on stage before, is surprised at all the bright lights, and then tries to do this to try and see. Now listen, if you can't see your audience when you look as though you can see your audience. You don't really need to see them, it's nice if you can. But if the lighting means that you're lit and you can't see them, so be it. You can always ask for the house lights to be turned up. Nobody but nobody stands like this, except footballers preparing for a free kick or people meeting royalty. Please don't stand like this on stage. It looks strange. While we're about it, this indicates that you're quite nervous. This indicates you don't know what to do with your arms. This doesn't look much better either. This, likewise, a little bit strange. So think about what you're going to do with your hands. Oh, and quick special mention to Steve. Steve, where's Steve? Steve? There's Steve. Hi. Go on, Steve, stand up. Now, you've probably seen this at some point. Some poor soul, Steve, is picked on to be thanked in public. Now, this is okay if Steve knows it's coming. But if you make Steve stand up, but you haven't told Steve, he doesn't know if he should stand up or sit down or just wave or turn around and smile. And then the audience doesn't know whether they're supposed to applaud or not. So what happens is what's happened every time you've seen this done before. You make Steve do something, so Steve's doing a bit of that, bit of the audience does a bit of this, and it's all, frankly, a bit embarrassing. Don't do it. It's as bad, by the way, as doing the in-jokes. So you're halfway through explaining something, you go, oh, yeah, that reminds me of Cyprus. Hey, Mike? Hey. And Mike, of course, laughs uproariously because Cyprus was very funny. Meanwhile, the rest of the room's going, no idea. No idea what this is about. Don't know. No. Reading all of your conference to one person or a small group of people that seem intent on enjoying your conference. So everybody else, all the way back, gets ignored, but you and that person have a love in, you and them. All the way, baby. That's kind of it for me. I think I've... Oh, yeah, slightly over. Okay, well, any questions? I don't know if there are any questions, but if you do have any questions, come and comment. I mean, or now, if you've got a question now, or if you prefer, I mean, I'll be over there by the coffee machine, crying and considering my next career move. So come and find me over there, and I'll happily answer. Or drop me an email, whichever's it. Right, okay. You need a nice, clear, tidy finish. That's it. All of this nonsense about have we finished, have we not finished, people are up, down, and you're not too sure what to do. You may have seen this one. Imagine I've got my clicker here and my PowerPoint slides here. And the speaker realises that they're running over. So instead of going, right, we're going to finish there, what they actually do is say, I don't really have time to run through all these properly. I'll just show them to you. For what purpose? Do we believe that somehow by osmosis, slides are going to transfer from here into your brain? Final point, please finish on time. So, the big don't is don't overrun. There's no reason to overrun, there really isn't. And when you overrun, all you're doing is you're letting people know you've not prepared this very well, you're not particularly competent at this, you don't really value their time. It's a real insult to any speakers after you, to the rest of the conference, and it's not great for your audience, is it? You've been scheduled for half an hour. Now, it's understandable you might go a minute or 2 minutes over if your introduction was late or you started late, but really there's no reason for that. But speakers often go 5, 10, 15 minutes over. There's no reason for it. So that's it, that's my list of do nots, and I really hope that you were perhaps playing the game as we went through, spotting things you've either seen another speaker do or the hardcore version that you do. Love to hear from you. If you want to put your score in the comments, that'd be good. Feel free, please, to comment as ever. DM me if you prefer, and as always, I'd love to hear your suggestions for other video topics. Thank you.